Hi, I'm Christian.
And I'm Philip.
And today in this episode we're gonna put together Philipp's new BMX bike, which Vera bought. Hopefully this is an enjoyable video.
I also hope so.
Now Vera bought a complete new set of parts to put together a 20-inch BMX bike for Philipp, and it's gonna replace his 18-inch. And after assembling it, we're gonna try it out and see how it does. We're gonna take a measurement to the raise of the second bearing, 44.4, 44.35, and we're gonna add 0.2 of a millimeter. So we machine our spacer to 44.4 plus 0.2 is 44.6 plus 0.1 tolerance. This is what we have to do now with this spacer. Use this caliper, 44.65, 44.6 plus 0.1, this is 44.65. So we're ready to install this now. The procedure on the other side of the bottom bracket is that we use a guide spacer to hold the inner spacer in position so it doesn't slip off. So this is the procedure. We can put this in here. This way we have a nice end stop and the inner spacer is in the right position. This is now perfectly even between spacer and inner race. Now I will seat the bearing. And it's nicely guided in there. See? This is perfect. These are the two tools I used. You know, making sure this sits on both bearing races at the same time, so we're not putting any load on the ball bearing. And then an inner spacer with 0.2 millimeter clearance to the bore. This is how Land Rover people do this. The next very critical setup is the chain alignment. Vera bought a right-hand chain drive. The bike is freewheeling now when the sprocket is on the right hand side. And what we gotta do now is we gotta determine the correct spacing for the crankset. Now the crankset consists of a sprocket and the crank arm. The crank arm has the right diameter to fit through there now. So, and we gotta find out the exact correct spacing to make that sprocket run exactly in line with the rear sprocket. The nominal spacer is this small one, and we put this on here. This is a more than 6 millimeter thick sprocket, so it should not need any additional spacers, but we're gonna see. So I got here a straight edge, and I run this across the sprocket here and point the other end towards the rear sprocket, and that makes me see exactly if my chain is running straight and true. Before we put this on, we gotta lube it up with copper grease instead of regular grease. This is way more long life and it will not wash out. There. There we go. On this side, we're gonna do a test assembly first without any spacers. the wedge piece, it goes on like this. It's like with a rubber band held together. Like this. We mount the crank test-wise. And what is now important is when it is wedged together, that it will capture this with no clearance. So we may as well loop it up and assemble it final. And if it is not tight enough, we're gonna add spacers. I'm gonna add a small spacer. And we're gonna see how far this gets us. Bit of grease on here. Now we tighten this. Now BMX bikers want their crankset to be really stiff. So when they jump off the bike, they want the cranks to stay. So this is not like in a mountain bike where they want this all loose and light and easy going. They want this quite stiff. This is beautiful. So I have here very light alcohol-based solvent. And that's it. Bottom bracket is installed. You don't want this thing to fail in a contest, because if it does, you're gonna have one unhappy kid. Now this distance needs to be close to this distance over here. And it is. So check out the frame distance here. We got 5.65 millimeter. On the other side, we got 8 millimeter. So we are within 3 millimeters, and half of that is actually what we off. So we're off by 1.5 millimeters. This is really good. So let's do the chain. The first step is to get the axle in all the way, so it's as short of a wheelbase as possible. So this is a half-link chain. A half-link chain has the advantage that you can cut it on every half-link. And it already has one link open with the pin inserted. That pin gotta face me, so it's going on like this. No. It's going on like this. No. It's going on like this. It goes on into this direction. Very important. So we put this over here. And this is where we don't want to screw up. So we'll make it as tight as possible. Next chain over. So it's this one right here. This is the one we gotta open up. And the focus is not to screw up. We'll put this link into the tool. Right there. Bottom out the opposite side of the tool. We're gonna crank in this tool. There's the chain open. If we didn't screw up, this will fit now together to set the chain in. Bottom out the bushing on the other end. You're disturbing my important video. So, but I was waiting for you.
Okay, sehr gut.
Okay. Now we're gonna push this together.
Very good.
And if everything is done correctly, the link must also be flexible at this point here. See? I think that's not bad, huh, Philipp?
Yes.
The frame up here, to make sure that spacing on the frame is perfect. Right, Philipp?
Yes. That is absolutely true. Look, it's hard to push it back, and that's very good.
And see, because the sprocket is such high precision on this one, it's the first time that the chain is really tight, no matter where you put it. Okay, because on all your other ones, the sprocket was really low quality and it was having play. And I set this up here by the 10th of a millimeter. This is really good. So what do you think? Is this too tight?
No, it's perfect.
Like this?
Yeah, it can't be too tight.
It can't be too tight.
It can only be not too tight.
Okay. You have my 17 millimeter wrench. So you gotta use only a 17 millimeter. That's the first wrench I needed now. So you gotta get rid of all your tools.
Yes.
So this is really tight. Wow, this runs so true.
And I like that the chain stop works perfectly.
It stops immediately.
Yeah.
So the headset on this bike has this taper here in it, and the bearings have also this taper. So the bearings actually sit in here loose. They don't need to get pressed in, one on the top and one on the bottom. There's the same taper in here on the bottom. The fork has already a taper here, and the bearing on the bottom has a taper, so it does not need a special tapered spacer on the bottom, which is really neat. Onto the fork. Good, like this. And this goes on here. This goes in here. Down. Down. There we go. This bearing in here. There we go, now up. Now this wedge ring gotta go in here. This is the right one. This one goes now on here. Yeah. What is this called?
Stem.
The stem goes on.
Yeah, but...
Okay. Now this is too long.
Yeah, we have to cut this.
Can't we put a spacer in between?
No, we have to cut this.
But we don't want to screw it up, you think?
No.
So we're gonna cut this so it's below this edge.
Yeah.
10 millimeters we're gonna cut off.
1 centimeter.
Yes. Under your responsibility. And this on there. See if it's now tighter.
It already has no play.
No play?
Yes, already.
Good. Oh yeah, and it spins like butter.
And it was my idea to cut it.
Yes.
I'm so smart.
Okay, now we gotta put on your handlebars.
Right there.
And we need to cut them?
Yes, but at first I want to test ride and then I cut them.
Oh, okay.
Maybe it's alright how they are.
So put your handlebar on. And we'll tighten this. Let's hope she bought the right diameter. Yes, she did. And this is the right way?
Yes.
Push down on it. Okay.
My new BMX bike. Let me see it. Yes.
It's really beefy stuff.
So you don't have to worry about breaking the inbus.
Yes.
To be used.
Here's the air gun.
Okay, let me show you something. This goes like that.
That's how you wanted to do it. Right?
Yeah.
So you got to kind of hold it tight here in the back, and then it lifts up the front. You're right, this works perfect. That worked great. Oh, you already got lube on it.
Yes, you see,
You made like a mess.
Oh, dear.
That's also tight. This is good for now?
Yes.
Okay. What about the air pressure? One line, okay?
Yes.
Better? You wearing your safety goggles? Good.
Die Bar-Ends sind auch echt geil.
What are you gonna do to work off all the debt you have? Did you think of something? I could have bought a lot of Land Rover parts for this bike.
I will survive the holidays.
You're gonna okay, here it is. You're gonna come on our holiday trip with us?
Yes, I will.
Because you got this BMX bike?
But we take that with us.
And you're not gonna bail out? So everything fit? Yes. Also, the center spacer, it is always too long. It always needs to be machined. So even that was correct. Okay, here, first one. Wow. Okay, that was a good one. Looks like bike's working. Yeah. What is that? A saddle grab?
Cannonball.
A cannonball. Okay, that makes more sense than saddle grab.
Yeah. I hope you enjoyed the video and thanks for watching. Have a great time.